Hey, thanks for taking some time to check out what God's up to here at K2 the Church. My name's Dave Nelson, and I'm the lead pastor here. And this is a very, very exciting time for us, as it has been from the beginning. And that's really all I want to do. I want to take you through a quick journey of where we've been, where we are, and where we believe God is leading us. This whole thing started back in the spring of 2002 when Luther Ellis gave me a call to consider planting a church in Salt Lake City. My wife and I talked about it, and we realized there are enough things going on in our life where this could be what God had for us. But we also knew we were not going to take one step west unless we knew that this was God's idea and not ours. And so we began the journey of investigating whether God wanted us to start this church or not. The first step in our investigation happened in May of 2002 when we took our initial trip to Salt Lake City, Utah. After spending a week here in Salt Lake, we met some amazing people. I absolutely fell in love with this place. And then on the last day, I found myself in this very spot where I'm standing today, right near Parley's Canyon overlooking the city. And I realized that I felt like God was beginning the stages of calling us to start this church. Everything looked good. The only negative was my own heart, because I was, in all honesty, just scared. Scared of the thought of leaving everything that was familiar to coming to some place that was new, and then scared of just the daunting task of planting a church in this city. Well, on the last day, I overlooked this valley right here, took a look at the city of Salt Lake, and realized I kind of just pictured God's thumb fitting right inside this valley, and it just hit me. He is so much bigger than this place, and He's so much bigger than every person who lives here, and that every person in this valley means the world to God. He loves them dearly. And I realized if I'm called to do this, that God is going to be with me. And it's not something that I'm going to do alone. And so all of a sudden, I got excited about the thought that this adventure might be beginning with God. Well, it got confirmed when we went back to Michigan because 35 adults started to feel the same call. And they were willing to leave their families, quit their jobs, and sell their homes to start this church. And I just want to tell you, the DNA of K2 was set right there. And that is, we want to be a group of people who are always willing to do whatever God asks us to do. And I tell you, we had no idea the adventure that we were going to discover and what God had in store for us. Well, after we moved here, we spent a whole year getting ready to open our doors. And during that time, 65 people joined our core team. They were amazing people who poured out their lives and sacrificed so much to make K2 the church happen. And then on September 26, 2004, we opened our doors right here in this red warehouse that I'm standing in front of. And it was an amazing day. 623 people came through our doors, and we realized, wow, God has some great plans to reach people in this valley. Well, it's been 2 years since that day, and a lot more has been going on inside this building. I'd love to show you what's happening. Let's take a look. Well, as you can see, it's pretty crazy here on Sunday mornings. And back in the spring of 2006, we started pushing about 1,000 people. We've actually gone over that mark 3 different times. So we've gone to 3 services to try to have room for everybody. But I think we finally realized that's just not going to work. And so our goal is we're going to need to move into a new facility. One of the great things about being here is we share this with The Rock, and that's been awesome. We absolutely love them, but it also inhibits us as to how many days we can be in here. We just hired our youth pastor, and so we need to make sure that we have room for him to do his ministry during the week. And if we have our own building 24/7, we could actually do a Saturday night service. And if that would happen, then we'd have more opportunity for people to come and hear about the love of Jesus Christ. So our goal is to be in a new place in early 2007. And we realized for that to happen, we needed to do a stewardship campaign to make sure we have the resources necessary to make that happen. So we're on the hunt right now. And what we're looking for is some warehouse space that's for lease. And we believe we need to find a building that's twice the size of what we have right now. So we can double our seating capacity in the auditorium, double the size of our children's program, and our office space. And we will also have a building that's ours 24/7. And we believe if we have that type of facility, then we can begin to discover all the plans that God has for K2 the church. Now, if you look in your packet, you'll see that we think it's going to take about $1 million to be able to find that building, refurbish it, and make the payments for the next 3 years. Our goal with this campaign is that we'll be able to move into a new rental facility quickly, and that's going to allow us to do everything that God's calling us to do. But we're also hoping that we'll have enough resources come in from this campaign to be able to be prepared for the next steps that He's going to ask us to take. We believe, as we've prayed about the future, that there are 2 equal options that God may lead us to. One possibility is that God would provide us some land or an existing building like the one behind me that we could actually purchase and call it our own. Now, we want to be in the north side of the valley, and so we know that land is scarce and it's expensive. But God is a God who can move in ways that seem humanly impossible. And if He does make that type of move, we want to be ready to respond to it. And so we're hoping that with this campaign, that we would have some resources so we could actually come to the table if God wants to lead us to purchase something. And we believe that would take somewhere around $4 million or so to purchase land or get started in the building that would be large enough to house what God's doing at K2. The other possibility is that we may start planting K2 campuses all around this valley. We know that our vision is to plant multiplying churches all along the Western Rockies that are engaging those being sought by God. The first steps will be to plant as many churches as possible in this valley. We know that's going to happen, and we just don't know the timing. But maybe the timing is now. And if that's the case, then we may be all over the place.